In this video, we will see how to receive an invoice without a purchase order. To do that, you will log into your Frevo system and start selecting the vendor that you need to invoice. There will be no purchase order because obviously this vendor does not have a PO. So you select on this checkbox, which will give you the option to enter the invoice as any regular invoice. You start by entering the invoice number. Now has to be exactly matching with the vendor document. Do not make any changes because it's an important control to avoid duplicate posting of invoices or payments. Invoice date has to match, again, the vendor document. Invoice due date gets automatically calculated based on the payment terms that you have for the vendor, so you do not have to enter this. Posting date is important. This is the date that the system will use to hit the general ledger. So in this case, I'm going to use November for the date the goods or service was delivered. And then I have the option to attach files. So I can choose files from my desktop and attach files. I can also attach supporting documentation, say this didn't go through a PO section, so you may have a memo from a PM explaining why this didn't go through the procurement process. So you could attach that as a supporting documentation as well. And then it will route you to the invoice description. And in this case, I'll always recommend starting by month and year. So it's easy for general ledger review. And then a brief description of the service. Then GL account, I will start by entering the GL account based on my information from the chart of accounts. And it will show me the list again. And as I type in, it will show me the option, and you can go and use the drop-down option to select as well. So I enter the fund, I enter the ARC. It will also allow me to enter the RC. Sub-award code is not required. It's not going to show any option unless this GL account was related to sub-award. Employee code is again not required unless it's for an advance or any other employee-related cost. For invoice description, I will just simply copy and paste it here for ease of transaction. And then for quantity, say this consultant has 10 hours of services at the rate of 100. I would just put that information here, and the system will automatically calculate the total invoice. Now, you could also add withholding taxes depending on what your country. So as you type, you can, enter the information here. So I will enter the withholding taxes, and then maybe just copy this. Enter the responsibility center. And then in this case, I have the option to either put a negative number depending on the withholding taxes, or if you have a value-added tax, you can put a positive amount. I always try to use dollar amount in terms of quantity, and then unit cost will be 1. So in this case, I have a withholding tax of 100, so that's been entered. And once I complete these lines, I want to make sure the invoice total here ties to the actual invoice that we have for the vendor. And once that's verified, I will select submit. Once you submit the transaction, it will go for approval by the requester or the PM, and then the financial controller. And once it's approved, it will get pushed into the accounting system.